Good evening. And this is a bonus show. Well, it is a bonus show. We don't normally broadcast on Fridays, but we figured we'd come in here and just, hey, have an open discussion about scary places to investigate. Where have you been that you've investigated or visited? And it's just like it haunts your every thought, your nightmares, whatever. Um, over the past 25, God, oh my, it's like 25 years since I've been investigating. Oh, well, yeah, over 25 years since I've been investigating and researching the paranormal. And I've been to quite a lot of places that, well, people would consider are like the Mecca of haunted locations, the Disneylands of the paranormal. Hey, abandoned landscape. Well, I'm going to say hi. Hey, Adrian, exploring Harley. Thank you for coming in for the very first time. Good to see you, Adrian. Again, yeah. Hey, Safari 360. Abandoned landscapes, and let's see, the Bud Files is in there, and to all the people lurking, come on into chat and say hello. Um, Alex might be joining, and a few others might be joining in a few minutes. I'm starting the ball. I'm running with it right now. But, there's things that go hand in hand. I mean, there are a lot of people who watch this show that are in the realm of urban exploration. And it goes hand in hand with paranormal investigation. Not to say that they, you know, you know, hey Tim, how are you? If you're an urban explorer that you investigate the paranormal, and if you explore, or sorry, if you investigate the paranormal, that you urban explore. But I mean, there is that crossing path. They go hand in hand, and there are a lot of people out there that do enjoy both. For the locations alone. Some people go in to explore the location for sheer purpose of exploring. There are people who go in there and investigate the paranormal based on its history or legends, history, or sorry, locations that are steep in historical, you know, values in terms of haunting episodes. Hey, John, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Talking about urban exploration. There you go, Mr. John Bengal. Um, but I have done a bit of both over the years, and primarily investigating the paranormal. But yes, I have urban explored because I love the history of a lot of these locations. And one thing, hey B, how are you? One thing that I really enjoy is again the crossing of the two. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the history. I'm a history buff, I guess. And it's kind of weird because, like, when I go and investigate the paranormal, I know there's a lot of people don't want to know anything about the history, and they want to go in there and read the vibe. Some people remote view it. Some people will just go in there and see what kind of, you know, findings they may get. Evidence. Some people call it evidence. I kind of teeter on that because I mean we really don't know. Um, yes, before paranormal was cool. Exactly, Safari. But I I just getting out and being in these locations. I remember in the beginning when I first started to explore, and then you know things started clicking. Okay, the paranormal. What is it? How do I learn more? And back when I was learning, it was all about, the books, because there was very little TV shows, absolutely none. Uh, oh, okay. So in Canada, well, fellow Canadian, fourth oldest city in Canada. Now it's trivia time. Fourth oldest city in Toronto. Or sorry, in Canada, not Toronto. Toronto. I would say it's probably in Quebec, and it could be Montreal. Is it Montreal? I don't know. I'm guessing here. Wild guess. Somewhere in Quebec, I'm assuming. But if we're talking about Quebec, there's a lot of history in Quebec. Tons. Ah, Trois Rivières. Yes. I can't say I've been there. I mean, I've been to Montreal, been to Quebec City, and Gatineau, and you know several locations, but I've never been there. Interesting. Interesting. Um, I a lot of what I've investigated personally, and with my with Southern Ontario Paranormal Society, it's been in Ontario, in Quebec, parts of Quebec, but a lot in the US. Yeah, I know. It's in between, the 2. I've never been there, though. I mean, when I remember when I was driving to Quebec City, um, we took a route, that was off the beaten path sort of thing, to sort of avoid the traffic along the highway, there, because it was horrendous, between Montreal and Quebec City. But yeah, I've done a lot of investigating in the US, um, a lot of, locations in the US. Everything from Waverly Hills Sanitarium to, the Shanley Hotel, to Iron Island Museum, to the St. Augustine, Lighthouse, Dunkirk Lighthouse. I mean, there's just so many places that I've been to in the US that are, again, steeped in history. And, you know, does that make them overly haunted? No. I mean, I've been to some of the and again, people have to understand, going to a location once or twice, you can't really decide if it's haunted or not. You really need to understand the location. And by doing this, you need several visitations, especially if you're doing, if somebody calls you in for a house investigation, per se. You know, you don't understand what's going on in that house with one visitation. You might have a glimpse, but you don't fully understand. And to fully understand, it becomes research. It becomes research to truly understand what is going on, if there's anything going on at all. I mean, and again, I've been to some of the most famous locations in the US. Um, I'll pick one, and what we used to call the Disneyland of the paranormal, and that's Waverly Hills Sanitarium in, Louisville, Kentucky, just outside Louisville, Kentucky. Now, we had a private investigation. I mean, there's a lot of people that go in there and they pay. We didn't have to pay. We were granted full access with another group, out of, Florida, and we co-investigated the Waverly Hills Sanitarium. And I believe, we started about 11 p.m. and we finished about, 5 or 6 in the morning. And it was in August. I remember it was in August. The first time we were there was in August 2007. And this is probably just as the hype was ramping up. People knew about Waverly, but it wasn't as it is now. As it is now, absolutely not. Um, and I was pretty good friends with somebody who was working security there for the for Tina, who owns the Waverly Sanitarium at the time. And I've been asked to investigate a couple. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people are like that. Oh, you went to the Queen Mary, huh? Yeah, Bob. I'm thinking of his name now. Bob, who was very popular with the Queen Mary. Oh, what was his name now? He no longer. Bob Davis, who was a who ran a site called Paranormal Planet, and our radio show, Nocturnal Frequency Radio, was a part of that. And I know he did a lot of events and investigations on the Queen Mary. Interesting place. Is it on my bucket list? Sure, I'd love to go there. I haven't gone there. But yeah, I've heard some interesting things about the Queen Mary. Um, yeah. But going back to Waverly, in fact, I became friends with somebody who did a lot of research there in the beginning when it was when Waverly was purchased by Tina. Um, Somebody by the name of Mr. Keith Age, the rock and roll ghost hunter, who was one of the first investigators to go in there and investigate Waverly Hills. In fact, he had a brick thrown at him. Does that sound familiar? Because I mean, he's not the only investigator that's had a brick thrown at them. I'm sure for all you out there who watch these TV shows, I know of another investigator that had a brick thrown at them in the beginning. But yeah, um, and we became friends, and made it down to Waverly Hills. We made it down there, full crew, full equipment, and oh boy, it was interesting getting over the border. We took the Windsor Detroit border, and we had all this equipment, and I had the guys paranoid, saying that they're going to pull us over on the other side because we have all this equipment. But I said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Just told the guys, "Hey, yeah, we're going down to Louisville to ghost hunt." And he's like, they double take, and it was a big guy. He's like, does a double take. He's like, "Pardon me? What are you doing?" "Ah, we're going down to investigate the paranormal, looking for ghosts." Not really. Um, but you know, gotta spice it up a little bit, make it sound good. And he's like, "You get paid for that?" "Hmm, I wish." "No, I'm not getting paid for it. You're going down there on a long weekend. You're driving 14 hours, well, almost 14 hours, to go look for ghosts in a sanitarium. Are you guys crazy?" Yes, we are crazy. If you want to call it crazy, then we are crazy. But anyways, interesting place. If you haven't been there, and I know a lot of people who investigate the paranormal, it's one of their bucket list sites. There's one here. I'm located, Harley. I'm located just in Burlington, which is in between Toronto and Hamilton and Ontario. And there's a place in Hamilton, Ontario called Century Manor. And this is excuse me, an old asylum. And you know what? Um, so you went to Hinsdale. Nice. I've been talking to my buddy Tim Shaw about getting into Hinsdale. But what so what do you think of Hinsdale? Is it worth it? I've heard a lot about it. I've looked at it. And I try to weed my way through all you know, the mumbo jumbo. And I like to go in because I hate looking. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy people and the TV shows and all that kind of stuff, but I hate the hype. When I go into a location, I try to keep that aside. I don't like the hype. I like going in. It's more the land than house. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard it's more the land, and in many cases that is the case. It is the land, right? It is the land, part and parcel with the land, right? Something going on. I mean, you look at things like classic hauntings, like the Bell Witch in Tennessee. You know, you have the Bell House, you have the Bell Witch Cave, but the land is what did it. What is one of the crucial parts of the haunting, the land. And there's a place, although I believe the Bell House, the only thing that's left is a reconstructed sort of thing, but the Bell Witch Cave is still there. It's an inch. If you're ever down in Tennessee, Adams, Tennessee, I believe, Adams, Tennessee, it's a must. And if you're down there, give my friend Pat Fitzhugh a call and say, "Hey, look it, Steve sent me here." Super guy. And again, if you're looking for more information about the Bell Witch, he's the guy to go to. Okay, let me just see here. I did have and for you guys that have never been there, if you were watching the beginning, the clock, the countdown clock, a lot of that footage is from Waverly. Let me just see. Hold on. Well, yeah, there you go. If they have no idea about the Bell Witch, let them know because I mean, Adam, Tennessee, which is the northern part of Tennessee. Um, I think it's about 2 hours north of Nashville. But if you're heading down, if you're driving down, as soon as you cross into Tennessee, it's like literally to the west of the border with Kentucky. And you know what? Mm, it is well worth it. I mean, it is steeped in lore. I mean, let's face it. It is the only incident in a court that a ghost was responsible for the death of a human being. The only, the only account where a ghost was officially pegged as the cause of death to a human. They are from Nova Scotia and really haunted. Yeah, Nova Scotia. Hey, come on. Nova Scotia's got lots of places. Okay. And you know what? I'm not treasure aside, but I would love to investigate Oak Island and not for the treasure. Hey, if I can find some, great. But just because there's a lot of history on that island. But to properly investigate it, that would be cool. That'd be really cool. Hold on a sec here. Okay, let's see. I lived by William Shakespeare's hand for many years, and the land next to it was haunted many years later. Wow, that is interesting, D. That is cool. Um, kind of reminds me of some of you may know the story about Laura Seacourt. When the British and the Americans were, at battle for, um, the border between Canada and the U.S. And Laura Seacourt was a pivotal um, aspect and helped the British defeat the Americans and drive them back when she literally ran, walked, whatever else, the distance she did to warn the Brits that the Americans were sneaking up, sort of thing. But there's this place called the Q House, and there's very little of it left. There's only just the foundation. But when you go there, it is it's seeping with energy. Just just history. But this unkeeled, uneven history, you know. I think one place, I very rarely. Hey, Max, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. The scariest place to investigate is a politician's mind. Absolutely. Um, one place, and I don't get freaked out. Very rarely get freaked out when I go in anywhere. I just, you know, if there's a challenge at hand, I will take it. I will take it. I don't care. I don't have a problem with being in the dark or anything like that, or a place that is, you know, pegged as a very, very haunted place. But there was one place that really freaked me out. It really did. It just something about it, and that was Gettysburg. When I was in Gettysburg and just walking through the town, and the town of Gettysburg as is, they have not done anything. Uh, they've kind of restored, but they've never really, like, I mean, literally, the original buildings still stand. In fact, we stayed in the Lincoln Hotel, um, where Abraham Lincoln had stayed, and it's now Best Western from what I understand. It's still there. Fucking great place, right in the square, right in the square of Central Gettysburg. Beautiful, beautiful. If you can get into that hotel, I highly recommend it. Very haunted, a lot of stuff going on there, a lot of stuff. But what's really cool is the town. When you walk through it, you literally still see uh, the bullet casings, the bullet holes in the building side of the buildings. They never repaired it. They left them as is. You know, you could walk through the battlefield and still find bones, but leave them alone because they'll throw you in jail, man. I'm not kidding you. Bullet cases, whatever else. If you find it on the fields, you got to leave it. You can't take it. That's the last thing, of course, because they want you to go buy them in the souvenir shops in town, right? So it's a different story when you take it. But they no, I'm not kidding you. They will literally throw you in the slammer if you take anything from the battlefields. If you find something, they will not hesitate to throw you in the slammer. They have and they will. But walking through the battlefields of Gettysburg, the Devil's Den being a primary spot, that was very intriguing. Um, just just knowing the type of history that comes with it. It is literally soaked with it because I mean, so many people had lost their lives there, um, primarily in battle, and then afterwards the wounded. Many of them were left to die in those fields, and just the thought, that people gave their lives for a civil war. You know, I mean, imagine something like that happening now. And you know what? In many cases, it is happening still with the US. There's that fine line between, and those are called political. And I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to talk about political bullshit tonight. I don't want to get into that. But you know what? Th- it's really really amazing, you know, how politics, religion, and so on can define people, you know, and how a lot of these wars and so on and so on are decided because of these aspects. But that's just, uh, all that town is a melting. Yeah, well, absolutely, Harley, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Um, um, Gettysburg, if you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. I really do. I really do. Even if you're not there for a sort of a paranormal sort of aspect, just to visit it. It is so worth it. Um, Absolutely love the drive from here. Like I said, I'm not far from the border, so I mean it wasn't too bad. Once I got into across the border, it was really not that long. I think it was about a 7, 8 hour drive, roughly, something like that. I mean, it was a while. Geez, it's been it's been like, ooh, close to 20 years, maybe close to 20 years since I've been to Gettysburg. So I've been really meaning to get back down there. I really do want to get back down there. I really loved my time there. Um, yeah, a few friends of mine went last year, Harley, and had a great time. 300 places as YouTube and witness some unexplained things. You So you have another channel, Abandoned Landscapes, dealing with that. Yeah, well, I guess it was about 6 hours. I don't know. I can't remember how long of a drive. 9 hours. I don't know. Whatever. It was a while. Like I said, it's been almost 20 years since I've been there. I'm intrigued. Abandoned Landscapes. I'm intrigued. I would love to see that other channel if you want to make that apparent. That would be interesting. I'm always intrigued with this kind of stuff. But 300 places, that's really cool. And like I said, I love abandoned places. It is a long drive. But you know what? I don't mind long drives. I really don't. Um, I look at that, it's not as long, but the Shanley Hotel and the Poconos, in New York State. The Shanley's an interesting place. Um, the Shanley's a really cool place. It was a cool place. Small little town. And here's this hotel in the middle of nowhere, really. And this guy named Sal had bought it and was renovating it with his son, level by level. And he got the first two levels done, started working on the third, but ran out of funding. Excuse me. And I remember The first two levels were intriguing, but the third level was the best because it was as is. Nothing was done. Nothing. You saw you saw what that hotel was really like on that third level. Yes, it was decrepit, but you saw what it was like to stay in a hotel back in the early to mid 1800s. I'll join the chat with it. Okay, cool. Hey, Steve, how are you? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, that'd be cool, Brandon. I will definitely join that channel. I'm highly intrigued by stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Um, Harley, have you been to anywhere in Ontario that you would consider a location that up close to there, up close to Quebec? I'm thinking, okay, well, so Kingston Pen, I did the Kingston Pen, the Ottawa jail. And again, you know what? Again, these places, hype. The pen though is interesting. The pen does have some interesting stuff going on, but the Ottawa jail, yeah, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, it's really got some crazy stuff going on." Old late original jail. Where's that? Is you're not talking about the Ottawa jail, right? Is that the that's not the Ottawa jail? That's a different jail, right? The Don jail in Toronto. I had a chance to visit when they closed up shop. The Don jail. They originally had Paul Bernardo, Sir John Johnson Manor House. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm familiar with that place. I've not been there though. The Don jail was where they housed some of the worst offenders, criminals in Ontario and elsewhere in Canada. In there, and one of the more notorious ones was Paul Bernardo before they moved him. But you know what? That place, the Don Jail, is it was fucked up. It really was. That was one crazy place. One crazy place. I'm friends with Elliot from the Phantoms of Yore. Cool. There's just so many things out. So many. You know, I remember when I first started, there was like literally a handful of people here in Ontario, groups, well known, well established. And some of them are still going. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them are gone now. Um, and it's funny because I mean that they always said that a lot of these groups, they come and go, they fizzle out, they don't last long, and it's true. You know, it's hard. It really is hard to yeah, the back house, yeah. It's extremely hard to keep things organized for a long period of time with the same people because people change. You have your lives, and you really have to, you know, and a lot of these groups become revolving doors. I mean, people come and go. I get requests from people all the time about joining the society, and you really have to watch. You really have to be careful about the people you let into your house, you know, and I do interview people, and over the years, if I had the interview footage of some of the people that I, you know, that wanted to become a part of the society, I'm like, wow, this is a best of, you know, some of the weirdest people. Hey, look, I'm weird. I'm weird. I'll be the first to admit it, you know? I'll be the first to admit it. Well, thank you for your service, Harley. Thank you for your service. Um, I do appreciate a retired veteran. You know, obviously. Thank you for your service. Um, well, you know what? It's intriguing. The array of people who are intrigued with the paranormal, and I always found that for the longest time, and still do. I find a lot of musicians. I think a lot of musicians are intrigued with the paranormal, especially with audio EVPs, because music frequency, you know. So I don't know. I always found that people who were involved, we are, Southern Ontario Paranormal Society has had some people in the group that are fairly well known in Canadian music that were part of the group at one point. So I mean, but again, the landscape has changed, and I think a lot of it has to do with the TV shows. Over the years, the TV shows have changed the landscape of the paranormal and how people perceive it. You know, the days of grassroots investigating are long gone. There is very little grassroots investigations going on anymore. It's all about high tech, what type of equipment you have, and so on and so on. Does that make it better? Does it make it, um, does it assume that we're going to get closer to answers? No, absolutely not. Because you got to remember, a lot of times, and what you see on TV are parlor tricks, right? Clickbait. It's like it's like it's like this show right now. And again, remember, this is a bonus show. This is the regular show. A lot of you come by and stop by. In fact, we have we've got a few guests coming up, by the way. And Sunday, March 24th. Hey, Ghost Echoes, how are you? There we go. Okay, so what I'll do is I will thank you for going to your channel, and I'm subscribing. Thank you, sir. I've subscribed. And you know what? I will share it for those uh, who may not obviously be able to, but there's Ghost Echoes channel. Please do check it out. Um, Massive respect to you. Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, and I will look it over. Keith, right? Keith. I will look it over. Um, for sure. That's intriguing. Thank you again for sharing that. I appreciate you sharing it with us. So that's awesome. That's really cool. because like I said, there are a lot of people who urban explore, and they do a lot of they go to a lot of places. I mean, I've watched. I'm intrigued with a lot of urban explorers, and the places that they go to are really the catch, like the locations. And you sit there and go, how the hell? When some of them go, oh, I've never experienced anything that I would consider paranormal. It's like, what? Really? And some of the locations you've gone to, you've never investigated anything? Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'll be right back. I gotta just do something. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back, guys. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Where do we go here? Where do we go? I'll be right back. Yo, what's going on?
What's happening?
What's going on, buddy?
Not much.
We were just talking about just a whole bunch of locations and Ghost Echoes, which is abandoned landscapes, is shared his channel. It's really cool. I'm gonna go check it out. It's called Ghost Echoes, and you can see
Cool.
it in chat. Some locations. He's primarily a urban explorer, but he's been to a lot of locations and had some stuff happen. And bang, that's cool. And so I was basically saying that there's that line between urban exploration and paranormal investigating with a lot of these locations,
Yes.
right? I mean, you've been into, excuse me, a place like, say, the Whitby psych ward,
Yes.
and I mean, probably a lot of people don't go in there to paranormal investigate. They probably go in there just to urban explore because it was an abandoned place,
Probably. Yeah.
right?
I mean, the place had a reputation and all, but yeah, you're probably right. It just they go in there just because. Well, it's it's an historic. It was sorry because it got torn down, but it was a historic place, built in the early 1900s. And yeah, it was a interesting location. Put it that way. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to go up there, but it was definitely an interesting place. Paranormal stuff aside.
Well, yeah. I mean, most of the time it is. I mean, like I said, when it was, places like Waverly, it's like. you're in awe when you drive up to the place. It's not so much because it's, the paranormal shit going on there, apparently. But I mean, just the massive size of this place.
Yeah.
And then you go into it and you're like, oh, wow. I mean, you're looking at a place that is 800,000 square feet. And that's just a building,
I know.
you know? So, I mean, you look at a place like, you know, would be psych ward. I mean, you're probably looking at probably the same size, if not more.
More with all the buildings.
Yeah, more with all the buildings.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, where'd he go? Where am
Are we frozen? We're frozen.
Are we frozen?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Unless it's on my end only.
It's on your end. We're good here.
Huh.
Look, I have this for you if you want to borrow it.
I
I,
can't
I
see it because you're frozen. I can't see anything.
you're gonna have to refresh then.
Yeah, but I'm talking about even StreamYard. So
Really?
let me log on. I'll come back in. Oh, there we go. Now it's working.
You're okay now?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, you can have this if you want. I mean, I have the whatever. But
Well,
here
I
you
didn't
go.
show it again. I didn't see it.
Oh, I didn't put it up yet.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Session 9. Wow.
If you have not seen it, you must see it. But yeah, I think Alex, you'd really enjoy it.
Okay.
It's a really cool flick. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, and bringing that up too. I mean that was filmed in another psych ward, well known in the Massachusetts Danvers, which was another place that was, pegged as a, crazy place to check out. Um, and our history, we were supposed to do something at a place called Henryton in just outside Baltimore, Maryland. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember Henryton?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever really
Well,
explored
you
it.
remember all the shit that went down with Jenny.
Jenny?
Remember, yeah, remember the BTR days.
Oh,
Oh yeah, well, there you go. Hold on a sec.
trying to find details on the Whippy Psych, like how big it was.
Yeah,
It was located in a 624-acre site. It was big.
yeah, it was huge. How big? Sorry.
It was the location itself. It was located on a 624-acre site.
Jeez, it's huge.
That is huge.
We're gonna have to have Keith on the Keith. You have to come on the show. Ghost Echoes. I'm just scanning over your site, your YouTube channel. Impressive. We'll have to have you on for a future show. I like the content. It's really cool, man. Really cool. But anyways, I got sidetracked. This not this Sunday, but next Sunday we've got Tommy Tombstone coming on, which is he's based in Michigan. Actually, pretty cool, pretty interesting, pretty intriguing content. And question for you guys: what's the most uncomfortable you felt in an abandoned place? You go ahead, Alex.
I think it was the time when at the Whippy Psych
Hmm.
when when we saw evidence that people were squatting there.
Hmm.
That's I think when I felt the most uncomfortable. Uh, Mostly because you don't know who is squatting there.
Hmm.
You don't know what their state of mind is. You don't know if if they find you in what they perceive to be their home,
Yeah,
what they'll do, right?
exactly.
Um, that's when I felt uncomfortable. Um, Aside from that, I mean, yeah, you get your typical kind of goosebump feelings every now and again because you're in a site that's supposedly haunted, but never really uncomfortable. Aside from that, so you started a poll.
You know, I did that. I did that in the beginning,
Mm.
like before we started. And so, anyways, 68 said no. Are you afraid of the dark? 68 said no. Um, sometimes afraid of the dark, 23%. And yes, 7% said yes. So yeah, Keith. Well, I'll get in touch with you, man, because that'd be really cool. I'd love to have you on to talk about those your experiences because we always love talking with people and their experiences with the paranormal and investigating it and so on and so on. So yeah, that'd be cool. Would love to have you on, and of course Harley. Harley's in Quebec,
Oh,
exploring Harleys in Quebec.
nice.
So yeah, some homegrown content as well, Harley. So if you're up to it, I'm sure we'd could love to have you on at a later show as well. That would be cool. If you want to come on now, you can. I mean, click the link by all means. If you want to come up, by all means, would love to. I mean, that's why the link's there. It's an open panel tonight. So and I
I think 50% of lying.
yeah.
Touche, pussycat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. For me, uncomfortable. I mean, there was probably a couple times throughout the time that I've been investigating the paranormal, but in abandoned location. I don't know if I think there was one time I was in a compound, excuse me, a compound that was abandoned, and I remember going into the actual house part of this compound. I'm saying compound because there was a house and then there was three barns,
Hmm.
three separate barns. And but you know what place I'm talking about, Alex.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was one time when I was there and I was going I was going down the front stairs, and I literally heard my name called and there was nobody there.
Hmm.
Literally. And I have the recording somewhere. I actually was able to, because I had the recorder going at the time. And I really, to this day, it still gives me goosebumps. But the sad fact is, it's no longer accessible to get in there. I love that place,
Hmm.
and it's really too bad that it's gotten to the position that it's in, but that's what happens when, places become abandoned. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
They become decrepit. And there's a point when you have to say to yourself, you know what? Is it still worth going into, risking? Because I mean, these places are dangerous. A lot of the times, very dangerous. if you don't know what you're doing. Keith, there's a question for you. The danger level of going into some of these places, like you said like close to 300, if not more than 300 places. The danger level. Have you ever felt that, okay, this is way too dangerous and I can't do this, you know? Yeah. And it's the same here, Keith. It's the same here. I mean, places, you know. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hello, sir. How are you?
Evening, gentlemen.
Hey,
Good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Put a face to the name.
Well, here it is.
Awesome. Folks,
Very
all the way from Quebec.
from Quebec, yeah, to
Quebec.
Three Rivers, Trois-Rivières, yeah. Very old town, and we have the oldest still standing prison in Canada. The oldest,
nice.
the old Trois-Rivières jail was built in 1822. It is like 2 years prior to the L'Orignal jail that was built in 1825.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and L'Orignal it's near Ottawa. It's right
Yeah.
across the river from Hawkesbury, I think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Very haunted spot.
So let me ask you, Harley, why the paranormal? What got you
Oh
intrigued with
my
the paranormal?
God, I've been intrigued by the paranormal since I was like 15 years old.
Okay.
I was in high school and they had those books about the paranormal, not just about ghosts, about like UFOs and uh, 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 spontaneous combustion and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I've always been fascinated by that, but in my head was like all Hollywood stuff and like all mumbo jumbo. But I
Yeah.
was kind of fascinated. Right before leaving for Bosnia in '95,
Mhm.
I was with a friend and in a house in a little town here. We knew the place like had a story, but
Yeah.
my friend decided to crack out the Ouija board. I said, that's nothing. That's a board game.
Alex and you are gonna get along here, Alex.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
Yeah.
The board did this.
Wow.
Not the planchette, the board.
The board
Yeah.
itself. Yeah.
And to this day, I still remember like somebody put his hand on the board and turn it because
Wow.
you could hear the like the scrubbing sound of the board on the table. Oh yeah, it was freaky. And I thought at first it was my friend saying, "Oh come on," he said, "Man, that's not me." He was pale. He was pale. Like, and back then I was like 20, 21.
Yeah.
I was in the army. I wasn't afraid of anything. And I started feeling really uneasy.
Yeah.
I really started, and I had that thought in my head all my tour. And when I came back, I was always like, it was still there in my head. I got out in the army, working as a security guard in Montreal. I
Mhm.
was working where the Gazette newspaper offices were
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
back
familiar.
in Old Montreal. They were
Mhm.
in between Saint Antoine Street and Saint Jacques Street,
Mhm.
and that building is old.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
old. And when I arrived there, I thought the guys were pulling my chains. They were telling me that when I was doing my rounds, you're gonna hear footsteps
Yeah.
when nobody's in the building. So I was doing my rounds, hearing the faint footsteps, and once coming back from my round, I heard some noise in an empty office. I
Mhm.
thought, well, is it like kids or squatters? I went to check. A freezing mist, like fog, but cold, went through me. And I backed up into a wall, and I crouched down. I said, "No, don't do this. Next time, close the door or knock on the wall." And the door closed.
Oh wow.
It was about mid-August, about 25, 30 degrees outside, not a gust of wind. And even though all the windows were closed.
Wow.
Wow.
So those two events made me to this day a believer. And I'm I've been through some bizarre stuff, like Hinsdale House. I've been to it twice.
Alex, we got to get down there. I keep,
Yeah.
First time I went there, hearing footsteps in the middle of our investigation. We all look at each other. Did you hear the footstep? And at the same time, Spirit Talker said the noise was me. At the exact same time. Second time I went there, I'm probably getting more and more in touch with my spiritual side.
Yeah.
I got so much affected that I didn't even investigate. I slept all the time.
Slept.
My friends investigated the place
Mm-hmm.
for that night. Instead was my Airbnb. I slept. I was sweating. I thought I was starting like a cold or flu or something.
Yeah.
And I was going on a road trip with friends. The next day I was investigating at Wildwood Sanitarium. And 2 days after that, we're going down to Ohio to investigate a brewery and Fairfield Infirmary. So what the frig? Next day, wake up, fresh as a rose. Nothing.
Alex, do you want to put your link to your channel there? Sorry. Ghost.
I can. I mean, I don't really post that much stuff on my channel, but I'll provide a link.
Ghost Echoes, hello. And yeah, the next day, like you're going home, you're not investigating. But I found out when I investigated the house, the Sir John Johnson Manor House in Williamstown.
Yeah.
John Johnson comes from the Mohawk Valley in New York State.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Mohawk Valley.
Yeah.
And he was in the head of a regiment called the King's Royal Regiment of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the area where he was doing skirmishes during the American Revolution.
Oh wow.
So it's I'm pretty sure there's something related to those skirmishes, or probably the French Indian Wars back in the early 1600s when the French were trying to push away the Indians from the land.
Yeah.
It didn't end well.
Didn't work too well, did it?
No.
Didn't work too well.
No, it didn't work
I mean,
too well.
they might have pushed them to Ontario a little bit.
Yeah, probably, or the way further down. Well,
I think it's called a little place like Sudbury.
They all stuck to Kanawagé now, right there on the front on the border. So yeah, it's in my opinion, it's more the land than the house itself, because just recently Dan Cleese, the owner,
Yeah.
he found some foundations not far from the house, and there are no written records of any kind of building there on any of the surveys he's got from, I think, even when the house was built in the mid 1800s. So probably there was something there before the house was built. Probably a settlement, probably, I don't know, some squatters. Because it's remote. you have to go. When you go there, you say you think your GPS is screwed up. It's like it's bringing you to like,
What, Hinsdale?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I find a lot of the places are like that down there. Like I said, even with the Shanley Hotel, it's like, are we there yet? And when you get there, it's like, wow, there's a hotel this size in a small little town like this. What the hell, man?
and Shanley is in bucket list because I've been hearing stories about that place. I know other creators that have been there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was there a couple times, and the last time I was there was I think it was 2000 and I think it was 9, maybe 2009,
Oh,
and it was before Sal, who bought the place, had passed away. Now I believe it's his son. I think it's his son that takes care of the place, but I don't know too much about what's going on there now. I've kind of fallen out of following what's going on there. But when
mhm.
Sal was there, that place was just amazing. And Sal did such a great job to bring that place up to like the first two levels. Like I said, the first two levels he had completed, and the third level he had started working on, but because the funding had like
Mm,
dried up, he had no more money. And this is why he was allowing people to come in and paid it to overnights and stuff like that.
mhm.
It was going into the upkeep of the renovation of the third floor. And I kept saying to Sal, I said, Sal, you should keep the third floor the way it is.
Mm.
To me, it's the cellar. This what sells the Shanley Hotel, the third floor.
A bit like Wilson Castle in Vermont.
Yeah.
The two first floors are like amazing. They're
Mhm.
beautiful. It's like, wow, look at that mansion. You come to the third floor, nothing is finished. You feel like you're in the abandoned building. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and when you arrive to that third floor, you feel that like shift of energy. I don't know if it's like that and the Shanley. If like when you come to the third floor, I don't know if like mostly in those hotels back in the day, they had like speakeasies or stuff like that on third floor.
I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't. Because of how close it was. Well, I shouldn't say how close it was. It was closer to the border and stuff. But I mean, talking about those times. I mean, we did an investigation of the old Hiram Walker Ranch,
Hmm.
and you want to talk about crazy shit. That was just absolutely insane, that place. Not so much the actual house itself, or it was a horse um whatchamacallit. I can't even say the word
A ranch,
escatarian. I can never say the word.
Equestrian.
equestrian.
Equestrian. Um, and so you had the barn for the horses and everything. You had the arena, the indoor arena, and then you had the outdoor. But they had a guest house that was built in the 50s there. And I'm telling you, man, that guest house was violent as shit.
Hmm.
It was violent, man. It was insane. Like, here, I'll play like uh
Where is that ranch? Is it in California?
no. It's in St. George, Ontario.
Okay.
St. George, let me see if I can pull it up here. I'll give you a little sample. Where are we?
And I was telling you earlier on the East Coast, like Nova Scotia, I've
Mhm.
been there a couple, like 3 or 4 times, and I've been to some places that, man, I've been to a poor farm graveyard. It's in the middle of the woods,
Yeah.
You walk like there are walking paths right there, and you go in the woods, and all of a sudden you see those white crosses appear like out of nowhere.
Really.
It's the landscape is a like they are forgotten souls.
Yeah.
And I went there with my friends Lomar and Chelsea that lived over there. That they live over there, and I kid you not, I felt like I was getting watched. My senses, like all my military senses, were like hyped. I was like, last time I felt like that was in Bosnia.
Really. Yeah, my ex brother-in-law, he was in Bosnia as well, and yeah, it was quite intriguing.
Yeah, it was
Like,
quite a shit show. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, hold on, let me just.
but it's the kind of place that makes you really uneasy.
Yeah.
And there's a readout, an old readout in near Halifax. It's called the York's Readout.
Yeah.
I heard, and I have it on video. It's in one of my videos. You hear a footstep, a clear footstep in the concrete. We go and
Wow.
investigate. There's nobody there. The only way out is the way where we standing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Keith, come on out, man. We got there's lots here. And you know what? It's not like the UK, I'll tell you that, man. I would love to come to the UK.
I have
But
friends in the UK. I have
yeah.
friends, paranormal investigators, and creators over there in the UK. I was planning going to the UK in April, but instead I went to California.
I've been to the UK.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Highgate Cemetery, you
Yeah,
bastard.
Oh yes.
2019.
Wow.
September 2019, I was in London, UK.
Wow. Yeah, I'm planning going probably later this year or probably next year, but probably later this year. But California, it was the only bad thing is in California they overcharge for
Mm.
certain places.
There's a lot of them are
Yeah.
like that though, you know. Just
Uh,
what am I thinking of the oh my god, I forget about this place in Batavia, New York. What's the name of that
oh,
place?
the Conjuring House.
No, no, not the
No,
Conjuring House, not the Conjuring House. Well, that overcharges too. Oh my god.
now the prices are like
They're just
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not the Conjuring House. Oh, what's the old the asylum there? Oh,
Oh, Letchworth Village.
no, no,
No,
no. What the heck is it? Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Kings.
No,
No.
hold on.
Where was this located?
Batavia, just outside Batavia, New York. I went there with whatchamacallit, Jeff Oslander and Gary Holgate and Robbie Thomas went there the one time. Oh, what the heck was the name of the place? Um, let's see. Hold on a sec here. Let's see if I can pull it up here.
I'm looking all over my head. But
Rolling Hills.
oh, okay.
Rolling Hills
Rolling Hills.
Asylum. And that was an interesting one. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, Steve. I was hoping to get there this October. I don't know if it's happening though. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I really wanted to come out, but some other
Wheelchair.
yeah.
I have friends in Manchester. I have a friend. She lives in York, in Yorkshire. Bad Cat Paranormal.
Yeah, don't bother with London.
That's where I was. I have friends that live in London. That's why. But well, we had a fun time though. I mean, we were only there for a week, unfortunately. But yeah, we got to see Highgate. We got to see a lot of the sites. The typical tourist stuff, Tower of London, and all that kind of fun stuff.
Here,
That's cool.
here's some audio. This was taken from the Hiram Walker guest house, and this is I'll give you kind of a setup. And I'm not obviously not going to say what's going on, but um, there was a painter who was in there to refresh between people in the guest house, and he was in there painting. He was up on a ladder painting on the main floor, and all of a sudden he felt like he was being strangled, and he fell
Hmm.
off the ladder. He ran out of the house immediately. He swore that he was being strangled.
Hmm.
But anyways, we were in there during an investigation, and I captured this. This is I've played this before, but here you go. Turn your volume rate up. Let's play it. Uh, you hear that?
You hear something before the laugh.
You hear us upstairs, and
Okay.
you hear us upstairs, but then you hear something on the main floor where that recorder is, right there.
Oh. So that there's nobody near that recorder.
Nobody.
So oh my
Absolutely
God.
nobody there.
Wow. Good-
Yeah.
Great catch.
Yeah.
Great catch. I have a catch, and it's not even me that caught it. I did a video here in Quebec. I don't know if you know the place. It's called Rivière-la-Gare. It's really popular
No.
here. It's near the border with Ontario. It's an abandoned settlement. It was Scottish.
Oh, really?
Scots, they came from Scotland, directly from Scotland. They established there in 1820, but in 1850, nothing was there.
Wow.
They all left because of I think it was a dispute with another settlement, and there's like a little river. They decided to build dams, and they couldn't get goods to the village. Anyways, the old church is still there with the graveyard surrounding it, and
Oh,
the
cool.
church is like on a hill. And I'm walking, like going to check. I think my friend heard something, and we're like four grown men right there, and we hear a kid giggling.
Wow.
But
That's crazy.
when I heard that, I went like, "What?" I was like amazed. I made a short out of it. It was like, oh my God. Like
That's crazy.
EVP caught just like that. And that's cool when you have viewers like giving you, hey, I heard that, and you go and check. Oh my God, great catch. And yeah,
Well,
that
I
giggle was like, wow.
I bet. There's just so many. Like, I mean, I've gone over some of the old footage, or some of the old clips from back in the day, and it's like, what? How did I miss that the first time? This is just and Alex, you've heard this a million times, but here I'll play it, and you guys can. I know a few of you have heard this before, but I'm gonna play this again because it's absolutely fucking insane. Where are we? Where are we? Where did I put it? Right over here. Where are we?
So Ghost Echoes, you probably know some of my mates that live over there in the UK. Dan from Exploring with Fighters, good mate of mine. Carl from Dark Arts TV. They're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, Dark Arts TV. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Tennessee right now, and oh my God, you got some really bad CBD weed in Florida, and it was it was spiked with spice.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's
And
crazy, man.
yeah,
Okay, so here you go. Here you go. This was taken at the Spruce Lane farmhouse. And this is you're gonna see, the videographer is upstairs on the bedroom floor by himself. You'll hear us down below, and then all of a sudden you see him centering on this photo, this oil painting, and then all of a sudden, bang. Okay, here we go. I didn't. Hold on. I didn't.
I heard like knocking.
Hold on a sec. I didn't upload the right one.
Dan got you. Oh, that's cool, Ghost Echoes. That's cool. Yeah, really, really great guy.
Does it sound French to you?
Kinda. I was not sure.
It's kind of hard.
Good evening. I heard the good evening in French, but
So you did hear good evening in French?
yeah, I hear bonsoir. She says something before and bonsoir.
Could it be oh la la? Oh la la?
I think there's oh la la, bonsoir, l'ami. And afterwards, I can't hear. It's like she's surprised. Oh la la, good evening, my friend.
Is that what
Oh
it
la
sounds
la.
like?
What I hear is oh la la, bonsoir, l'ami.
Wow. To me, it always sounded like it was French, but I wasn't sure.
I heard French in Ohio, and people were surprised. I say, hey, French discovered this land.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of even down here in Ontario, there was a lot of French.
Oh yeah, hey, we found a French. Like we came upon a cemetery right in the middle of the woods in Ohio. It was a French community that decided to set up camp there. Was like, what the hell? Like French names and French writing on freaking gravestone. I was like, oh my god!
French writing there. Oh,
In the middle
crazy.
of Ohio.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right
Oh.
back.
Oh, it's one of those, eh? You're just disappearing.
We got to refresh.
Oh, I already took care of that.
Well, I'm at the I'm at the smoking type.
Yeah.
It's for my PTSD.
I have well, you're vaping, right?
Yep.
Yes, I have mine upstairs.
Yeah, vaping. I got gummies. I got
Nice.
Not lots of good things to help me relax.
Yeah. I got to try some of those gummies. I haven't tried the gummies yet.
Oh, it's good. To sleep. It's the best. When I went to California, I immediately starting looking for weed shop in California because in
Mm.
California it's like the second state that was legalized.
Mm.
And I bought 2 vape pens and I bought some gummies in Malibu. And I kid you not, I was back in the 60s.
Nice.
Oh my
Nice.
God. Just the weed shop just coming in. You had that black dude sitting right there say, "Hey, brother, can I see can I see some ID?" And
Yeah.
give me my ID. He's trying to scan my Quebec ID to his computer. Oh, fuck it. Like, go with those lovely ladies. 2 beautiful girls. Oh my God. I tell her, I'm a veteran. I'm PTSD. I need something to help me sleep. She's like, give me those gummies. I
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
slept so good
Yeah.
in the entire trip. So yeah, but California is if you have to go, I will recommend it like 1000%.
Hmm.
I've discovered places in California that I'm going back. I'm driving back.
I love California.
There's a tower in San Diego. It's called the Witch's Tower. And it's not the Witch's Tower because everybody called it the Witch's Tower. It is called the Witch's Tower. You can search it and it will bring you to Presidio Park, San Diego. The top of the tower is a freaking pentagram. And under that pentagram is the first American that traveled California and is buried in California soil.
First American.
Yeah.
First official American?
Yes. In 1730 something, I think. Like Lewis and Clark and all
Oh,
those.
yeah.
I'm looking at it now.
And in 2020, my friend Jay from Ghost Club Paranormal went to investigate there twice. I went there the night I was supposed to investigate. A homeless guy decided to set up camp on top of the tower. Said, well, I'm kind of not the guy saying, "Oh, could you get the fuck out? I have a paranormal investigation to conduct." So I decided, like, oh, I'll call it quits. But in 2020, 2 guys went there to investigate, and they found a dead body right
Dead
there
body.
on the top of the tower. And to this day, there are still rituals done on this tower. Just climbing the steps and being on top of the tower, I could feel the energy. I could feel like all that mashup of energy. I was feeling really uneasy.
Alex, you got a picture of it?
If
Yeah.
you
Hang
have
on.
a picture of it, I have.
It's not a very tall building,
No,
though, is it?
it's not.
No.
It's a small building.
Yeah.
It's like octagonal. It's made out of like clay. I don't know. It's like old style Mexican kind of,
Yeah.
those building in California,
Yeah.
and it's made out like that. And where the crypt where the guy is buried, it's locked. There's a grill, and right when you're on top of there's the top of the tower, and yeah, there's a step and the door right there. There's
That's
the
crazy.
crypt,
Yeah. It's
and
crazy.
on
Kind of
the
Spanish, right? Spanish
yes,
sort of
and on
Mhm.
the
architecture.
right side of the tower, there's a slope. That's the graveyard of the
Over here.
first settlers.
Wow.
Right by this
That
trees over here, right?
yeah,
Or is it
yeah,
this other
but a
side?
little bit closer to the camera
Okay.
and
Yeah.
right to the on the right of the cameraman.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Actually,
yeah,
hold on. There's a video here. So
it's
let's
in
see.
old San Diego. Well, I think he's going to the old settlers graveyard. You don't see stones anymore. It's like mounds.
Right. Keeps freezing this video.
There's a tower, yeah, right there. He was going towards the first settlers graveyard. When you go up the steps, on each steps there's a cross painted.
The hell, man?
Freezing again.
Yeah,
That
it's
It's
sucks.
freezing. What the?
Thank you, Ghost Echoes. Thank you. And yeah, and you go there, you have like technical issues with I tried to fly my drone. First of all, I couldn't because there was an airport. Go to get an authorization, couldn't get my drone up. Uh Everything was going bad. The the guy, the homeless guy was coming. He was about to set up under a tree. I don't know. He saw me there and he decided, nope, I'm setting up camp up there tonight. And well, that's it.
Harley, we should get you to come out sometime in August and do the Spruce Lane farmhouse. I think you'd enjoy that place,
That
man.
would be really cool. I'm going actually towards Indiana, so I'm probably gonna go through Ontario, going to Indiana because I'm going. I want to do the Monroe House
Oh,
alone.
the good old Monroe House.
Yeah, but I'm doing it alone.
You're doing it alone.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Hey,
My
Gareth, how are you?
my friend Matt Benton from Devil's Hour Productions,
Mm-hmm.
he did a movie documentary on the Monroe House. It's actually in the editing process,
Mm-hmm.
and his colleague Joe Vitale, another friend,
Mm-hmm.
he stayed in the Monroe House alone for a couple of days. And
Have you been there before?
no, it's going to be my
So
first
this will be
time.
first time.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
First time, and I want to do the jail that's right next door.
Right next door to it.
Yeah, I want to do a couple of locations going that way. I love traveling. I love going my car, listening to music, and go to like haunted places and trying to discover what's
Yeah. You know, Alex, a good friend, Michael Esposito's done a lot of work there at Monroe House.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot of work there.
and when it's gonna come out, it's gonna be called Evil on Earth.
Evil on Earth.
Yeah.
Interesting. Evil
He
on Earth.
did. You probably saw it. The Arisville Haunting, the real story of the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
He's the guy behind that movie.
What's his name again?
Matt Benton. He's the guy with the goofy helmet.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
I
Sounds
wore the
familiar.
goofy helmet when I went to California.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar. The name sounds familiar.
Great guy, really good paranormal investigator. A skeptic paranormal investigator.
But you know what? Honestly, you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be, and we've said this a million times. I mean, you can't think that everything is fucking evidence. You can't think everything is a ghost. You have to at least try to explain things.
I explain a lot
Yeah.
when I investigate, but sometimes I'm just like, can you explain this, please?
Yeah.
I know. I hear you,
It's
man.
like
There's-
I'm in a hotel room in
Mhm.
Halifax, the Lord Nelson Hotel.
Mhm.
I go right to the front desk. I say, I heard this place is haunted. I want the most haunted room in the place.
Yeah.
They give me a room. I kid you not. The REM pod is at the end of my bed.
Okay.
Each time I move or do something, the REM
It was
pod
going
goes off.
crazy.
At first, I thought it was because I wear lav mics, but the lav mics I used before was like the big box with the antenna. I thought was triggering
Setting
my
it
REM
off.
pod.
Yeah.
just putting my hand towards the rampart was going off. I was like, what the hell? Can you explain this, please? I had two mediums watching that video. They told me you have a prankster on the bottom of your bed.
Hmm.
From different province, one from Nova Scotia and one from Quebec. They watched each the same video. They told me the same thing at that time.
What are your take on mediums? What are your thoughts on them?
It
Be honest.
depends.
Be
The
honest.
one that goes around, I'm a medium. They're full of shit.
Yeah, I love this guy. Man.
The real mediums, they won't tell you they're a medium.
Where have you been all this
Ex-
time, Harley?
Yeah, where the hell
Right
have you
here.
been, for crying out loud? We've been doing this show since 2008.
2008.
Where the hell have you been?
I just came out of my shell. Well,
Uh.
it's a very long story. If you have 5 minutes, I can.
We
tell
got
you.
plenty of.
You
Go
got
for
plenty.
it.
All right.
Go for it.
Well, in 2021, I was right there in front of that's a former gun case. Now I put all my products in there. Right. I used to have an arsenal in there. I was right there in 2021 with a 357 Magnum in my mouth.
What? Holy
Whoa.
shit!
Yeah. And I was
Wow.
wondering, do I blow my brains out or I still have something to
Damn,
live for?
dude.
So I thought of my kids. I thought of my
Yeah.
family. I thought of everything. I said, no,
Wow.
I still have something. And the little voice in my head told me, no, you still have something.
Obvious. Yeah.
So, well, cops showed up, ambulance showed up. I ended up in the psych ward. Spent a couple of days in the psych ward, 2 weeks.
But I
And
mean, you really like when you were there. You probably just like the time thinking about all this.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
and back then I had a good friend, another veteran
Mhm.
that really took me under his wing, and
That's good that you had that, man.
he brought me with him. And we went walking in Portugal. We went walk the Camino to Santiago.
Yeah.
And I injured myself, and I kept walking. Well, old army guy, I tore off some ligaments in my left ankle,
That's
and
some walking, man. Holy shit.
and ligaments in my knee.
Holy crap.
We're climbing some mountains in Portugal,
Oh
and
wow.
my friend, he used to be a chief warrant officer, 72 years old.
Wow.
And Bob had 2 surgeries in his knees, so we
Mhm.
had like kind of weak knees. And he told me, stay behind me and secure me if I fall. And it happened. He fell. When I pushed
Oh.
him back, my foot was on a rock.
Oh.
And it
Damn.
went like that, and my the nerve right here got
Oh.
pinched,
Ooh.
and I kept walking on it.
You kept walking on it.
Yeah, for 4
Oh,
days.
for 4 days.
I
Holy
wanted to
shit.
cross into Spain. I wanted to do the cross from Portugal to
Oh,
Spain,
yeah,
to do
yeah,
the
yeah. Okay,
crossing.
yeah.
When I crossed into Spain, after we're going down, where you go up, you come down on the other side. Well, going down, oh my God. If you're hurting, when you go up, doesn't hurt a bit. When you go down,
Yeah, you really feel it.
oh my
Holy
fuck.
shit.
My walking stick were keeping me up. And I was thinking, and all my trek, I was vlogging my trek. I still have the images. I still have to edit it. Well, it's me. And I came back, and I had a couple of investigations that I did prior to going to Portugal. And I said, well, I'm going to edit that, and
Mhm.
I'll see how it goes. And I was like going, do I do abandoned stuff? Do I do paranormal? But I was like too much fascinated. My head was like, no, paranormal. It's like go in, like dive into it, dive into it. So I dove. I bought like I got
You know what it is, Harley. Harley, it's the fact that you were at a point in your life,
yep.
and here you're like searching, and a lot of people will say when they sort of land on the paranormal, it's like it's all about trying to understand what happens
Yeah.
when we die,
And
right?
going there, well, I just turned 50 last year. So
You're a young pup.
yeah,
Wait
I'm
a
still
sec.
a young
Hey,
buck.
wait. So I know somebody else who just turned 50.
And
Yeah.
By the way, happy birthday again, Alex.
well, it
Yeah.
was
Thank
in
you.
November, but well, we're going on the other side. We're like half of our life is done. So
Yeah.
it's the other half.
I
So
like the way you're thinking. Half.
yeah.
Half. We
Yeah.
got another 50 years to live here.
Oh yeah.
I sincerely hope not.
Well,
Come on. We
I
live
s-
50 years just like this. We don't age
Yeah.
anymore. That's it. Aging's gone.
Yeah,
I,
that's as long as we stay this way, I'm okay with living another 50 years.
There you go.
I'll be the one in my wheelchair pinching the butts of the
Yeah.
nurses. And
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
We'll have the wheelchair gang. Come on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I dove into it, and I felt so much, well, welcome at first, because I had to forge my community. I went into chats. I started
And that's
following,
what you do. That's what you do.
and I started talking and asking, can I do a collab with you and everything? And through other veteran friends, I had the opportunity last year to go work on a movie in Nova Scotia.
Awesome. Awesome, man.
And my friend Lomar, he got, well, a pretty good viewer count, if I can put it like that. And he's a great guy. He's a passionate like us. He's really, he was an urban explorer, but he went heads up down into the paranormal. He was doing like the randonautica bullshit before, and he went like, no,
I remember that.
and that's not the thing. And he really, and I've lived some experiences with the guy that to this day we cannot still explain it. So I went to work on the movie. I reached out to him. Can I do a collab with you? I had like 40 subscribers back then, barely.
Yeah.
And the guy had like 60,000 subscribers. He said, like, he's gonna laugh at me. No, he said, yeah, sure. And we filmed twice a daytime investigation at the wreck of the SS Atlantic, the first wreck of the White Star Line. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my computer. And the second time we did it at York's Redoubt in the bunkers, the Second World War bunkers near the water, and that was insane. First of all, that was insane because
Dude, I just realized you got 25,000 followers.
yeah.
Subscribers. That's cool, man.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
I just subscribed now.
No,
Thank you.
I just did. I don't know why it didn't last night when we met in what's his name's chat.
Tommy.
Tommy, but no, we actually met in Bad Cat first.
Yeah,
Bad
Jasmine.
Cat, yeah, Jasmine.
Jasmine is my friend, and that's why how I started. I started reaching out to other creators,
Yeah.
having them. I was like in the winter, like me in Quebec or in Ontario. We have
I'm stuck. I
we
got
have
snow
the
all around me.
white stuff around
Yeah.
us.
Thankfully, I don't know what thankfully it hasn't been like that here. I mean, what has it been crazy up there?
Oh yeah, and we're expecting a bit of snow still
Oh,
this,
that sucks.
It's
and I
been
had my mags installed on my car today. So,
it's been mild this year here in Ontario. It's been
and I
Yeah,
very
it's
want
very
been really
mild.
mild.
I want to get my Harley out too because I want to ride my Harley. I wanted to go out today, but there's too much like dirt and shit, so I don't want to fall or anything. So
Yeah.
I just started it in the garage. Well, anyways, I started like doing the podcast in the winter, inviting creators, Dan from Exploring with Fighters and everything, and I grew my community like that, and I've been having so much fun since I started, and I've I've had stuff happening to me that it's not only investigating now. I'm researching.
And that's you know
I
what, I find
Yeah.
that critical. I mean, there's just so much. And, you know, with what you have, mentioned, you can tell, you can hear the knowledge that you've researched, and it's coming out. I really respect that.
it-
And that's really cool.
I even made a specialty in one cryptid in particular because, well, the legend was born right here.
Mm.
The legend of the Wendigo.
Mm.
It was written right here first in 16,
Alex's ears are perking. The Wendigo.
and it
Can we
was
be
written.
talking about the Skinwalker Ranch?
Well, Skinwalker, we don't have that in Canada.
No,
It's
I
the
know.
Wendigo.
I know.
And I investigated in two places. Rivière-la-Guerre is one,
Mhm,
and the other one is called Maplewood Cemetery. Both graveyards
mhm.
are built where a native settlement used to be.
So let me ask you, since we're on that, cemeteries. I mean, what are your thoughts about cemeteries being haunted? I mean, some cemeteries I could probably, say okay, because I mean, the theory is, for the most part, that when you die, you die, and if you come back, you go to a place that you are fond of, or you have unfinished business, or whatever. Why would a cemetery be? Because honestly, I mean, when you're buried in a cemetery, it's just your physical vessel
Yeah,
that's
it's like
now the shell's gone. You're gone.
the second meat is like right there rotting,
Yeah,
and yeah,
and that's it. That's
and
it.
but I've discovered through s- through a couple of investigations that graveyard, and especially old graveyards,
Mhm. Yeah.
especially
Well,
old graveyards,
yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Yeah.
an old graveyard where that person has anything else to stay attached to is that spot. That's the only spot where you can remember me because
That. Yeah.
spirits die
Mhm.
when you forget them.
Yeah. And and if we're talking about an older cemetery, we're talking about people
Hmm.
who were buried who thought they were dead but weren't really dead yet.
Probably.
Dead ringer.
Oh
But
yeah.
I mean,
And
I think about children who had smallpox and influenza, and they thought they were dead, and they weren't dead when they were buried.
there's a grave in the Rivière-la-Guerre. It's the Gordon family. It is both his children died in young age,
Mhm.
and we had the name. My name is Robert, and one of his kids' name was Robert. He was 19 days, or it was like a little baby, like, barely born.
Yeah.
But like, it's the only place they knew was that place.
Mm.
There's anything left all around the church? It's cornfields.
Oh, cornfields.
So and
Nothing like cornfields.
yeah, and the only still building lived in is called the McDonald Mansion. And back in the day, that was like the mayor's house, the town
Mhm.
hall, the general store, and everything. So
Yeah.
that was the place. And the guy who lives there, I think he's the last living relative of that settlement. So,
Alex, when you were young and stupid.
well, and in the Maplewood Cemetery right here in Quebec, uh, that was another settlement. There were Abenakis right there.
Mhm.
And during the American Revolution, a group of loyalists came to Quebec and decided to, well, we're going to settle here. So you, Abenaki, whoosh. And they decided to settle there. And they made the Abenaki burial ground their graveyard.
The wonderful thing about loyalists
Yeah.
is they're very loyal to their dead.
Yeah. And the in my research on the Wendigo, the Wendigo is a spirit that is casted on a land that it's a curse.
Hmm.
It's a curse
Okay.
because the Wendigo was a way of telling the kids he's like the boogeyman.
The
He's
boogeyman.
he lives alone in the woods. He's not part of the community. He lives where it's cold. He hides behind the trees a little bit like the Iroquois. They were like it was a kind of a story of a boogeyman, but back then they were really in touch with their spiritual side. And when they were casting something, well, I know some places that I to this day, I will be really, really idiot if I set a foot there alone. Like the Bridgewater Triangle.
Oh, don't get me started on the Bridgewater Triangle.
I
The Puckwudgies.
oh,
The
no,
Puckwudgies. Come on.
I that's I'm pretty sure that's a place that was probably a native battlefield or
It was. It was a native stronghold. And in fact, if you look at it, the Puckwudgies are a race of beings, if you will, that the natives believed lived within the triangle. But Alex, where the fuck is Harley been? I can't
I don't know,
believe it
man.
with this guy. Like, holy shit, dude. Where the hell did you come from?
and recently and I like I tell you, I've started putting stuff in 2022 and I've exploded since then. And
When did you start? When did you start your paranormal journey? When did this all start?
uh, in on YouTube in 2022, but
So you're fresh. Holy fuck.
my my
25,000 so quick like that?
oh yeah, but when
Damn.
well I
What are we doing wrong here, Alex?
well well I promoted a lot. I promoted a lot, and
Yeah.
it helped. It well, you have to pay for it, but it
Yeah.
helped and it gets you out there and
Mhm.
and people that subscribe, well, they're real people and they come
Yeah.
back and and probably the style that I'm bringing, I'm really reactive. I'm French, so
No. Come on. I'm French too, but holy shit.
I react. I'm really reactive, and everything kind of like I'm fascinated, but I want to find out what the freak is happening.
I don't know. I don't know if you know this, Harley, but Alex is Italian, so he's pretty reactive too.
While my friend Angelo is Italian. He reacts sometimes, but he's not that.
So he's not as reactive as a French.
No, but
That's because I'm not Southern Italian.
well,
Oh, okay.
my friend Lomar, he's we're the same. and he's bigger and more hair kind of
More
style.
hair. Hey, don't worry. You fit in right well.
Well,
You
yeah.
fit in great
Yeah.
here, man. 3 bald guys. You got nothing to worry about.
But
Yeah.
we react when we see something, when
Yeah.
something happened, and sometimes it freaks us out. But I'm the kind of guy, like, when he runs out, I run in. Like in Fairfield, we're in the body cooler, and something pushes Lomar out. I go in, and I hand up my hand and touch my hand, please. And I kid you not, I felt something go like this on the tip of my finger, and when I say tabarnak, I'm really I'm really surprised.
Tabarnak.
Hey, here it comes. Now he's
Nah,
bringing
it
it
had to come out at some point today.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the
Had to.
French came out, well, like somebody came and pinched my finger.
Tabarnak.
I went tabarnak, and oh my god! And we investigated a place called Father John in Ohio. It's in Bryan, Ohio.
Yeah.
It used to be a monastery,
Okay.
and
A monastery in Ohio. Wow.
and there were clergymen.
Okay.
They were forming priests to send on missions.
Mhm.
And John, when he bought the building, he was doing some renovations, and he was digging to get some piping done, and he found a casket.
Oh, wow.
And you have like a plexiglass, and you can see the casket. I investigated that place. There's it's a restaurant too, pretty good, and there's a
It's all
dining.
about the food.
Yeah. He kind of designed a room, and in the room all around you there's stained glass.
Mhm.
And before doing the Estes method, we didn't know that stained glass came from a burning church in Poland during the
Oh,
Second
wow.
World War.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I was saying, burn it, burn it. That's what I was hearing in the Estes method, without
Oh,
knowing that the
wow.
freaking. And I come out of the Estes,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden I felt like something came into me and grabbed my heart and stopped my heart.
Wow.
I thought I was having a heart attack without having the numbness, and I was like, and everybody looked at me and said, "Are you okay?" I said, I don't know, and I ran
I'm
out.
French. I'm okay.
And for the first time, I said, "I don't know," and I ran out.
Really? You ran out of there.
I got freaked out, and my friend Angelo, he's got a prayer. He's a Calabrese, and he's got a prayer in Calabrese that he says
Yeah.
only in case of emergencies.
Alex knows it. Alex knows it.
I don't know. I don't know the prayer, but as soon as you said Calabrese, I know it. That's a Southern
Yeah.
Italian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Southern
well,
Italian. Yeah.
And Angelo, he was everybody was afraid, and like we stopped for a moment. I went back, like there's an Airbnb attached to the place,
Yeah.
and there's a guy, Austin. He's like he's a part of, they call it the Underground Paranormal Network.
Oh, hey, yeah. I know that. I know that.
And Austin
What's his last name?
Austin Maynard.
Maynard. Oh, fuck.
He was going around with a spirit box.
I know the Underground Paranormal Network.
He was going around the restaurant with a spirit box, and then the spirit box says, "Grab this heart."
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that was. I still have to edit the Ohio series. I have that and Fairfield. Fairfield, for the first time in my life, I saw a shadow figure. And
wow. Well, you know what? I'm with you on that. I've had my experience with a shadow figure, and wow. it was certainly something else.
On the third floor in Fairfield, we were doing a trigger. We're shackled on the wall.
So you had a trigger, or you had a trigger item? What?
Yeah, we're shackled on.
Okay.
You
Oh
know, in
wow.
Fairfield Infirmary, they have those chains on the third floor. When
Okay.
they
Yeah.
found somebody who was dead, froze to death,
Oh wow.
and the other one, like in his wounds, they found maggots in his wounds. Like he was. Oh
Oh.
yeah, that was
Lovely.
really bad. And the superintendent
I
that
hope
was.
nobody's waiting to eat or anything right
Oh
now.
man,
Hungry, actually.
you ever been to Fairfield?
I might have. Fairfield. What are we talking about? Fairfield.
Fairfield
What?
Infirmary in Ohio.
No, I've never been there. Mansfield, I've been to,
Fairfield.
but never Fairfield.
It was. They called it Fairfield Infirmary. It was a mental institution slash
It's always a mental institution.
hospital
Yeah.
slash poor farm.
Come on, for
It's
a
like-
hospital, we'll make you
Ugh.
comfortable while you're going through mental.
And there's like unmarked grave in the backyard.
See, that's crazy.
yeah.
When you start talking about unmarked graves, that's crazy shit.
Hmm.
That really is.
And
I mean, think about it. Think about it. Like,
they're unknown.
you're
They're
unknown,
forgotten.
forgotten, and never known. I mean, there's so many pioneer cemeteries out there that, sure, they have a listing of people that are buried there, but not everyone.
My
Not
friend,
everyone.
when we were going to Brian, we're like a bit early, and Angelo texted Austin, say, "Hey, do you have some graveyards we can visit?" That little French graveyard that I was telling you about, that was one. We went there. Chelsea did a photo shoot. She's a photographer. She's awesome. Go and check her Instagram, Lacey Decay. She's awesome. And we went to another graveyard that used to be near a poor farm. I kid you not, the poor farm is not there anymore. There's like a barn. You go there, it's a frisbee golf course. And you go and you walk the golf course, you go up, and on the 13th hole, there's the graveyard. Small little white gravestones, and a couple of them with names. And I found 2 veterans of the War of 1812.
Wow.
One was a 25-year-old lieutenant. Okay, War of 1812, 25-year-old lieutenant, PTSD.
Wow. Who's talking about that then? Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he's crazy. Let's park it there. You know?
Wow.
That
Sorry,
was-
guys. I'm gonna have to get going. I'm starting to.
All right,
off here.
Alex. Take care, buddy.
Okay,
Nice
Harley,
knowing you,
nice
Alex.
to meet you.
and-
Hopefully, we'll talk soon.
We'll
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
You know Harley's coming back, man.
Yeah, he's coming
We
back, for
absolutely
sure.
would love to have him back.
Awesome.
Nice.
Have a
knowing
good
you,
night,
Alex.
everyone.
Take care, Alex.
Good night.
Take care. Bye.
And we start doing a spirit box session. I just cracked my my spirit talker. Just ask
So-
questions.
Let me ask you. What are your honest opinions about a spirit box? I mean, I've had a lot of experience with, from the Radio Shack hack to the Frank's box, for years, and I'm still not convinced.
I go with the SB7,
You okay?
but I don't use it out like I use it on Hestis
Okay.
because I don't listen to the radio stations. I
Mhm.
listen to the voices behind them.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Those are the voices, and those are the answers that will, because sometimes, like, I don't know, Maria Carey goes, hey, I love you, and I don't know, you ask a question and the answer goes, it could give you a false positive. So
Mm,
I
yeah.
try to decipher between what is radio, what is like, oh, that's not radio. you know, that strange voice, or kind of always that same kind of grain of voice you're gonna hear. It's like, oh.
Okay, let me rephrase it. W- Um,
And if you
what,
ask me
what,
about apps,
uh,
I trust one app, and it's Spirit Talker,
yeah.
because I
See,
know the creator.
I tried Spirit Talker. And like I said, I anything with the phone, I don't even bother. I'm sorry.
Because
Not to
yeah,
diss your buddy, but I
oh
just
no,
but
but
let me rephrase. Percentage wise of what you have gathered information wise from a spirit box, blah blah blah, whatever. What would you consider authentic percentage wise?
I would say about 80%.
Wow. Wow, that's wow.
And because most of the time, if I like going blind into an investigation,
Mhm.
because I will compare what I've caught with the history of the place.
Wow, that's cool. I like that. I
I-
like that because there's not a lot of people that are like that anymore. A
If
lot
I
of people like knowing what's going on before going in, but that's cool. Thank you.
and if I go in a place and I know the history of the place,
Mhm.
I will go after, if I have a name, if I have something relating to the history of the place on my Spirit Talker. I know that probably 45% to 35% are going to be irrelevant words.
Mhm.
But I had some stuff coming on Spirit Talker that to this day I cannot still explain it.
Wow.
They're like direct answers, and I know it doesn't listen to me. It's an ovulus, but with more sensors. And yes, it can be connected to a network,
Yeah.
but most of the time, if I don't use my phone, I use my tablet. And my tablet, well, if I'm not hooked to the Wi-Fi, it's like a phone with no network.
You have to forgive me at times. I'm old school.
Oh yeah.
I'm grassroots. And you know I've used a lot of this stuff and I am very skeptical.
Goes to
I'm not
listens to you.
I'm not saying that I
Yeah.
debunk I don't outright debunk stuff. I don't think it's healthy to do that. And I do understand that we don't fully understand and anything can be used as a tool. I agree with that.
Because the guy who invented Spirit Talker, uh, uh, well, first of all, he's an engineer,
Yeah.
and he's finishing his degree in astrophysics. Um, and the guy created the app. At
Mhm.
first, it
Yeah.
wasn't called Spirit Talker. He associated himself with the layout of Spirit Talker
Okay.
because he thought
Yeah.
it was cool. But the program behind it, that's his. And it
Mhm.
was called something else before. But he created it to communicate with his loved ones that he
Wow.
lost.
That is so cool.
And he specifically, like, not not to use the microphone, not to use, the only thing is the speaker and the sensors that are in the phone.
Wow.
That's it. Because I've checked other apps.
Mhm.
Well, goes to, he asks for the permission to ask your microphone, and when you talk, you see the sound bar going up.
Mhm.
If it's not listening to you, like, okay,
You know there's a problem.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I know Spotted Ghost, he created other things, other apps that are not like, are just sensors. He did a music box, like a music box, but instead of using a beam, well, he uses the sensors in the phone.
Mm.
So when you have your phone sitting in a bathtub in Wilson Castle, and you ask, can you go and touch the box in the bathtub, please? And it goes off. Yeah. And I did it right on the live. I was live streaming.
Oh, you were live
I
streaming when you.
was live
Oh, wow,
streaming.
that's cool, dude. But I mean, let's be honest. There are people out there that create these apps or create these
Devices.
devices, if you will, for the sheer purpose of entertainment.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there's plenty of it out there. I mean,
Yes.
plenty of it. So, what advice would you give to people who are looking for something that's authentic?
If you want to be really, really authentic, well, it's you. The best thing.
But we're fallible.
It's how you feel. The
Mhm,
energy, how you feel the energy.
mhm.
If you're not in touch with your spiritual side and you go with a not a open mind,
Yeah,
you go with an open but skeptical mind,
yeah.
and you try to debunk everything you hear. You ask questions. Can you knock? Can you walk? Can you and
Mhm.
listen? But if you want to render it entertaining for YouTube, well, you use devices. And yes, it's sounds, it's lights, but everything in the paranormal field is everything is theories.
Absolutely. I
Everything.
fully agree with that. I
And
fully agree with that.
if we have all those theories and put them together
Mhm.
and look at the similarities in everything, and then you discover, well, that happens in that occasion. Same kind of occasion, different location. Oh, that happened again. Or I have that same name coming through. And
Well,
spirits can travel.
mhm.
Spirits don't
Yeah.
stay. And I another place I did in Ontario, I forgot that one.
Uh-oh.
The
Another one.
mill of Kintel.
Mill of Cantel. Where is that?
It's in, oh my god,
Mill of
it's near
Cantel, eh?
Ottawa too, but
Oh, okay.
it was the at first it started as a mill by a Scottish immigrant,
Mhm.
but Robert Tate McKenzie, that was the father of physical education in school, uh, he lived there. That was his summer home. And he was a good friend of James Naismith, the creator of basketball.
Hey, there
And
you go.
that
Yeah.
was their playground when they were
Damn Scots.
and that when it became abandoned, that was their playground when they were young.
You know, there's a place here close to here called the Hermitage, and it was owned by a Scotsman who was very, very rich. Built this mansion called the Hermitage. And there was a fire and nearly destroyed it. Only the shell was left. um, there was a woman who stayed in a shack in the back corner of this place for years, and then she perished. She passed away. Excuse me. And when you go there, you a lot of people will see or experience this mysterious woman in the back corner of what's left of the ruins of this
Mm.
location. Dude, it's one place you would love. But I'm telling you,
No,
you let me know when you pass by because I
oh
I
yeah.
would love to do. I would love to do an
Oh yeah,
investigation into that.
I would love to investigate with you as well. And
Yeah.
Milf can tell if I can finish on this one.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
Robert Tate McKenzie was an artist. He was a
Yeah.
sculptor,
Oh,
and
okay.
that was the place when he held his favorite pastimes, doing seances.
Oh, wow.
And some of his
Seances.
good friends, one of them was our former Prime Minister, Mackenzie King. Mackenzie
Mm,
King was really missing his dead mother. And he wanted really, really to communicate with
to
his
make
dead mother.
yeah.
And he went there numerous times
Oh,
doing
wow.
seances. And then when I went there, I'm pretty sure I communicated with him
Wow.
because that was his favorite place to go. He even wrote a letter to Robert Tate McKenzie being sorry he couldn't be there this summer because he had other things. That was his place to go when he was like on vacation.
I love the fact that you do your research. I love this. This is so cool.
And my friend Elliot from the Phantoms of Yore, he's really a great guy.
So, okay, where are they situated?
They're in the Ottawa region.
Ottawa. Okay.
Yeah, Elliot. Everything around the Ottawa region, Cornwall,
Cornwall. Yeah.
the old the SDG jail in Cornwall.
Yeah.
He does like public investigations there, and sometimes you can book it for private. And Elliot, he goes really in depth in the history of all the places. When you need the history, you ask him
That's
if you
cool.
need something. And yeah, old SDG jail in Cornwall, that's another place that is amazing. It's crazy. You have Peter Balacom, a former military man that killed his lover because she wanted to tell his wife that he was having an affair.
Yeah, having an affair. Go
And the
figure.
guy, right before being hanged, the picture they took of him, he's smiling.
Oh, wow.
Nobody claimed his body. He was buried in the the courtyard of the jail. And when they did the extension, they dug him out
Yeah.
and they buried him in a non-marked grave somewhere. And yeah, and there's another one called there's Peter Balacom and Henry Seguin. Henry Seguin was a former military man also, but he did the two murders, one in Ontario and one in British Columbia. But when he was caught in British Columbia, well, they brought him back to Ontario and he was sentenced to death. But he
Wow.
cheated the hangman. He committed suicide the night before his hanging with a cyanide pill that he did himself.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
really crazy place. And and I love traveling, going to the US, like documenting the places in the US, but I want people to discover Canada. We have so much haunted
There is.
spots
There
here.
is. Yeah.
The history right here in Quebec, the valley, the St. Lawrence Valley. It's when the explorers came in, they came in right here.
Exactly. Quebec is steeped with
You
history.
go from Nova Scotia and you
Yeah.
just come in the Fleuve Saint Laurent and Quebec City.
Yeah.
The lower part of Quebec City was like you had the British that took Quebec in 1759, and you had the Americans that decided to throw a party in 1775.
Yeah.
People don't know about that.
No,
Not
I
lots
know.
of people know that the Americans tried to invade Quebec City.
Yeah.
They took
Yeah.
Montreal in 1775, but they couldn't take Quebec.
No.
But they bombarded the shit out of there.
Just imagine how different shit would be if they were able to take Quebec. If the Americans were to take Quebec and we're hey, look it. this would be really fucking different, man.
I probably won't be speaking French anymore.
No, you
No,
probably wouldn't be.
because look at New Orleans. In New Orleans, they're bringing back French, but for a certain period of times, French was forbidden in New Orleans.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, if there's an American brethren, obviously it's New Orleans, right? Louisiana, much of Louisiana
Well,
is French.
all the valley, the Mississippi Valley,
Yes,
was owned by the French
yeah.
before the British took over.
I mean, you look at places like St. Augustine in Florida.
That was founded by the Spanish.
It was, but the French, the English,
Yes.
they all conquered, but it's just amazing how these three strongholds.
And you have to say that in New Orleans, most of the people that was living there were took from New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and they were brought
Down.
down to New Orleans. They were
Yeah.
forced. They were expatriated to all the colonies
Mm-hmm.
that France had. That
Yeah.
was their sentence. They were called the Acadians.
The Acadians, absolutely. Yes, exactly. Man, I'm telling you, we have to have you on for a full, just a proper show.
Well, and I have like stuff in the books, and it east again. Um, uh, I have an island. Um, it's called Hospital Island. It's near St. Andrews. It's in New Brunswick,
Mm-hmm.
and like Gros Isle here in Quebec, where the
Mhm.
Irish were coming in,
Yep.
the quarantine island.
Yep.
But that island was the dumping ground island.
Oh,
And
okay.
and to this day, you can still see bones sticking up.
Wow, that's crazy.
And we're going there spending, well, hopefully no storm, but we want to go there and spend the night. It's a small island. It's like, I don't know, the size of 2 blocks.
Wow, that's it.
It's really small. There's like a derelated, like a shack it's seen better times. But my friend Lomar and me, we want to go. He did it in New Nova Scotia. It's called McNabb's Island. Him
McNabbs.
and his girlfriend spent the night on McNabb's Island, and that was insane.
I have to say, I love the what's the wording I'm trying to think here. I love the enthusiasm. I love the passion. I love, dude. You have reinvigorated me.
And
And I have to say thank you, because you know why? Because you're in Quebec, I'm in Ontario. We're still Canadian, but this is cool. I
oh yeah,
love I love I love hooking up with people who are close. And you know what? Where the hell have you been?
no, I've been right here, and I know pretty cool a team from Ontario, Paranormal XP.
Yeah.
The girls are amazing. They're a good friend of mine. If you want to meet them, just ask and I'll tell them.
I know lots of people here.
And
I'm
they're
telling you, man, it's incredible. But what is really cool is the fact that, when you think you know everybody, you don't.
no, and you
There's
probably
so
know a
many.
good friend of mine, Dominique Desormeaux.
Sounds familiar. I think I might have had an interaction with him.
Investigation 13, or
Yeah, you know what? I think I might have had a interaction with him about what was it? Vampires. Is he Christian based?
Yeah.
I think I might have had not confrontation, but I had an
Hmm.
interaction with him dealing with a certain Sean Manchester.
Probably. I'm not sure if it was Dom, because Dom is a kind of he's like me. He's the kind of guy that um you will believe some things.
He's in Ontario?
No, he was born in Sudbury, but now he lives in Quebec.
Hmm. Okay, maybe it was somebody else I'm thinking of. But
No, he's a tour guide in Montreal. If you come to Montreal,
oh, really? Okay, maybe
and
it's somebody totally different.
not tomorrow, but next Saturday, we're going to investigate on the Montreal. Uh, you have the Molson Monument, where Mr. Molson that made the beer.
The good Molson
Yeah,
Brewery
the good
and
Molson beer. Well, they had a pretty
how
fucked up
about
family, so
how about the old Molson Brodeur?
yeah.
Hey, Brodeur! Everybody remembers that
Oh boy.
what was it, 6 or 7%?
6%. Oh yeah, that,
6%?
that was the beer you were buying when we were
Yeah.
a kid to get drunk.
The Americans were going, holy shit, you got a 6% beer there. We're coming over.
Yeah. And yeah, and just on the mountain, known graves, you get 2.5 million people buried on the mountain.
Wow. And we're talking about Mount what? Mount
Royal in
Mount
Montreal.
Royal. Yeah,
And that mountain,
crazy.
before the settlers came, that was kind of a spiritual kind of center for the native,
Yeah.
and that was their burial ground,
You know
because
what?
they were giving the bodies to the gods.
Hmm.
So imagine all the bodies that are unknown plus the one that are known. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I've seen for the first time in my life a full bodied apparition in that graveyard.
Wow. Okay, so for somebody to say that, that takes a lot because
Oh,
I mean a full body apparition, it's like,
I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you the story, and if you meet Dom, I won't be there. Ask Dom the story. He's gonna tell you the same thing. We're filming on the gravestone of a little girl,
Mhm.
and all of a sudden we all turn around and we see that girl walking right
Wow.
in the middle, like with a bag, like she's going to school,
Yeah,
but she's all dressed in white.
crazy.
And to this day, I have a really really good photographic memory. I can't remember her face.
Wow.
And when she was walking really further away,
Mhm.
I noticed that her head wasn't going like this. She was going like this.
So, well, that's interesting. It's interesting how you say that. So it wasn't going like this, but it was going shh,
Yeah, it was floating. And
floating,
and
flowing.
I have the audio of it, but I was so like, is it real? Is Dom start running? She's walking. Start running to go and check. When he's like probably 100 yards from me, he flashes his flashlight. She's like twice the distance that she's supposed to be,
Mhm.
and when he flashes her, she disappears.
Wow, that's crazy. That's insane.
That graveyard is like nuts. We saw a dog coming out of nowhere. What the fuck?
Dog?
A dog, and all of a sudden he goes away. And where's the dog?
Wow.
Oh man,
That's
that evening, and we're the tour group, and I was doing a YouTube video, but I didn't release it because there were like too much French in it. So what the
So
heck?
when you shoot your videos, when you do a lot of your YouTube stuff, what kind of camera do you use?
I have a Sony A7 III,
Yeah.
and for night shots, I got a Canon XA40. I got a little Phasm camera. I have a gift from my girlfriend. She gave me a little a body cam, the Bob Love body
Oh, the
cam.
Bob Loves. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are great cameras, dude.
Uh,
I love those cameras.
I have a drone. I have a DJI Mini Pro 3 drone for my drone shots.
Ooh,
I love taking drone
drones.
shots.
Yeah, drone shots are great.
Yeah,
DJI.
I'm pretty well equipped. Just came back from California, so everything is like in two Pelican cases.
Pelican. We all love Pelican
Oh yeah,
cases.
and
They're the
and I
best.
wanted to bring. I bought a new lens for my
Uh-oh.
camera, and I wanted to bring that little baby with me. My God, I'm nuts. So I like buying.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that lens. Jesus Christ.
So
Wow.
I took some pretty decent shots with
I
this.
guess so.
On the Queen Mary, I took like a B-roll
That's not a telephoto, is it?
from. It's a 28 by 135 millimeter,
Yeah. Holy crap.
and
Nice.
I took a shot from the hallway
Yeah.
on the boat. Queen Mary,
The only way you're going to be able to describe it is to show it.
and I'm gonna kick myself in the nuts and and edit, and winter is always hard
Yeah.
when you have PTSD, and I openly talk about my PTSD to my viewers, and they know that like I have hard times sometimes, but I have so much great stuff to edit.
Dude,
I
dude.
did a house in California.
Yeah.
I think we were the third or fourth team in that house. Was
Yeah.
built 1891,
Wow.
California.
Yeah. That's a rarity.
I
I have to say, let me get this out. And addressing your PSD
PTSD.
yeah. My brother-in-law, like I said, same thing. And I have to say, total respect, dude, total respect. And you have shoulders to lean on, dude.
Well, thank you
You
so
you,
much.
you do, because much respect to
Thank you.
your service.
And I'm kind of discovering why I took that path,
Yeah.
because I don't know if you believe in past life,
Oh yeah, I
and
do.
I believed that. Sorry, I'll always be in the soldier in my past lives,
Yeah.
but I didn't knew what kind.
Hmm.
My friend Leticia, she's a medium,
Hmm.
and she started like she just went like, when you were in the army, you were leading men, right?
Hmm.
Well, I said, well, I was a corporal, so I was leading. No. Back in your previous lives, you were leading men. I said, I don't know. Well, I tell you because your spirit guide just told me. And when you died, gunpowder wasn't invented.
Wow. Well, what's that tell you, man? When you hear
And
that?
I've always been fascinated by the Battle of Hastings,
Mm,
1066,
okay.
when the Norman came and invaded the UK.
Hmm.
I have French roots. My roots are from Normandy.
That is cool.
And I'm pretty sure I was probably a knight under William the Conqueror that went to Hastings and died there. That was my first death as a soldier. My second death, I was doing a live stream with my friend Elena
Mhm,
from Finland. I
mhm,
was like a co-host on her podcast,
mhm.
and a medium in the chat goes, "You were a soldier, right?" And I wasn't speaking about army or anything. And in the chat, he went like, "Hey, Harley, were you a soldier?" I said, "Yes." I said, and he went, "In your previous life, you were a soldier as well. In World War One, I was a British soldier, a communications officer. Right here in my vault, I have a field hat from the Second World War, but it's kind of the same
Mhm.
from the Royal Signal Corps.
Wow, that is so cool.
And I found that hat thrifting in Nova Scotia. And
Thrifting.
I was like, "Oh my
Wow,
god, I have to show it to you, man. It's a
do
gem.
it. Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
It's a gem. It's probably a surplus, but
Yeah, that'd be crazy, B. That'd be insane if you're. Oh wow, look at that. That is so cool. And you found that at a thrift shop.
yeah."
Wow.
And when he told me that I was, and I rarely show that. I rarely show that. And when he said that you were a communications officer in the First World War, when I crack up that, I said, like, okay, it's one
That
of
is
my past
crazy.
life talking to me.
That is crazy, huh?
So,
So,
so yeah. So
B goes, imagine if you were to contact yourself in a previous life. Wouldn't that be crazy?
that would be
That would
awesome.
be insane.
That would be awesome. That,
I mean, would you sit there and believe it right away? You'd probably be like, no, no, no. This is come on.
but like
Right?
it's after try to figure out how those dimensions work.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
Because
it's a proven fact that we live in a multi-dimensional
yeah,
sort of
there's layers and layers and layers.
layers upon layers, and but the thing is, how do they work? You know, you have glitches and theories and blah blah blah. But I mean, you know, wow, like to think, okay, well, I'm coming from the future and you are the past. Wait a sec, what? Uh-huh. What?
Coming out of high school before I saw the light and enlisted in the army,
Mhm.
I went into the CJEP in college here in Quebec,
Yeah.
um, and I was studying psychology because
Psychologist, yeah,
I had nothing else to do. But I was fascinated by the human brain.
Mhm.
And I realized, and during my courses, that we use practically 1.5 to probably 2% of our brain.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy?
When you pass away, everything else, all that energy that is in your brain, it's liberated. It goes away. And
It's
when I
it's
was doing my
yeah.
course, I saw a study on sleep.
Mhm.
And during that study, one of the participants died.
Oh,
And they
wow.
realized that when he passed away, when he was like dead, his brain activity continued for 10 seconds.
That's insane.
And it was at his height. And afterwards, and in his brain, no more electricity, nothing, because they had like probes in the brains and everything. All the electricity that was in the brain was gone.
Well, there's one thing for certain, and I wholeheartedly believe this, Harley. And when we pass away, our physical vessel, that's it. But our essence, our energy, it's infinite. It never dies. It transitions. It goes elsewhere.
When you watch all this,
It's
this,
energy. It's
us,
created energy. It's
we're
created
all
energy.
we're all atoms.
Yes.
We're all energy. We're all
Yeah.
atoms,
Creating.
protons, neutrons. We're all, and it's all stick together. But
Yeah.
when it dies, it goes away. But in your brain, you have those neutrons and those protons that have, and that's what I want to prove. And
Mm.
I've read some studies that, okay, people will say, well, he's a crazy psychologist. Well, probably
Mm.
he's really intelligent. That's why you call him crazy, or he's making
It's
sense.
always the crazy ones.
It's always the crazy ones, but
Yeah.
it's it makes sense that those neutrons could have some intelligence.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's insane to think that when we pass away and that's it. And no, it's not. I will never accept that because our energy is infinite. We live on. How
The
it
human
transition.
the human body is such a great machine.
Hmm.
It evaluates with its environment. It's
Hmm.
adapt
Adaptability, yes.
and at a certain point in time,
Mhm.
man lost something, a certain knowledge that our ancestors, and I'm
Wow,
not talking,
hunter gatherers, there's all sorts of things that we
I'm
lost.
talking tens and 15s, probably 20,000 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a certain period of time that men were acquiring new technologies
Mhm.
and new ways, and they are always like looking at the sky. Hey, it's the gods that told us to.
Yeah.
And well, I'm going to another part of the paranormal that, well, we're a young planet. We're a really young planet in that universe. And we're really, really small in that huge universe.
And we have no idea anything. I'll be honest, we don't have a clue about this planet at all. We really don't.
They're still to this day discovering places, still discovering writings, uh, drawings
Mhm.
that relates to beings coming from the sky.
Mhm.
And I've seen it's a pyramid that was found in Egypt,
Mhm.
and it's really really old. But the rock that is made of, it's not from Earth.
Mhm.
It's a meteorite. But the way it's cut, there's no tools on Earth
That
that
could
can do this.
yeah. Let me ask you, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the possibility that the paranormal and ghosts and all and things that people witness and their connection to say extraterrestrial life?
We don't know. We're not there. But
Exactly.
but I cannot say I'm 100%. For me, Jeff Dupont, right here, that guy exploring Harley. Yes, I believe that you have a dimension with earthly, like extra earthly beings come and travel, and you have that dimension when our energy is released.
Hmm.
It's it's going, and through that
Yes.
dimension you
Hmm.
can like I don't know, traveled through both. I don't know. It's that's what I'm trying
You're trying to understand.
to
And
put my finger on it.
let me ask you, with your journey, I mean, you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot, and that's clear. You've clarified that. But I mean, what do you think? Let me ask you, and this is a hard question, and let's be direct. The meaning of life. I mean, and the paranormal. What do you think? Do you think that us as a species, when we pass away, when the physical being is non-existent, do we transition and do we sort of move on and sort of revigorate or regenerate like most of life here on earth, like a tree dies, you know,
I
it's seasonal, it dies, and then, harvest time, things die, and then, in the spring things begin to repopulate. I mean, do you think human life is the same thing?
what I like to watch is like within all the religions
Hmm.
that what they are saying about life, and
Yeah.
they all come, well, not all of them, but most of them come to a conclusion that you die, you come back if your mission is not completed. You die and you come back if your mission is not completed. And when you
Cool.
die, you become, well, a spirit guide, or the Buddhists can call it enlightenment,
Enlightenment, exactly.
because you find you go to a place where a few chosen one go. And is it through that other dimension that is you you discover what is like out there, what is in the universe? I don't know. I kind of put it like in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like when you
Yep.
pass away,
Mhm.
you've been teleported to another dimension, and
Exactly.
when you're in that dimension, when you can teleport yourself wherever the frick you want to go.
Here we go with the dimensions again. It's amazing how it keeps going back to the dimension thing. I mean, the thing is, when we think of intelligent life and visitation, do you think, Harley, that possibly it's all a matter of just us? We reach a certain period or pinnacle, and we're able to sort of backtrack or travel back in time or dimensional and visit ourselves, but try to be a little kind of covert about it and say, look, I can only tell you so much because I don't want to give you too much information, because if I give you too much information, it could like alter how things are going.
Well, there goes the, well, when people say, well, he traveled in time. Well,
Yeah.
how cannot be a person that passed away that is in the dimension
Mhm.
that is mission completed, and
Mhm.
he went through the other dimension, and in being into that dimension, well, I will call them like that, extraterrestrials. Well, they travel through the speed of light, and they can't go back in time. Well, going into the universe, or I don't know. There's certainly a way they can go into space and come back, and like it's like 30 years prior, or in the future. I don't know, but there's certain things that there are two obvious,
Mm,
that people will say, well, it's fake.
mm,
Well, is it? When you have those pictures that are studied and you see the guy with a cell phone and like, oh no, it's not a cell. Well, blow it up. And it's
mm.
not made up. It's not altered. It's or the guy with a T-shirt in I don't know, in Germany in the Second World War.
Yeah. Harley, we got to have you back. We got to have you back for a full authentic show. It's been a blast, buddy.
Thank you for
I
having
really
me.
appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. It's been great. I can't believe it's taken so long, but you know what? Glad to have you on, man.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I love meeting new teams, new
Mm,
people, and especially people that have the same goal as me, like to try to find the answer.
exactly. It's all about finding the answer, trying to understand the answer,
Yeah,
and explaining as much as possible. And yeah, I strive for it. I drive for it, and it's a continuous thing. And I really I really respect your passion, man.
well, thank you.
I really do. And you know, and again, you know, I respect you for your service.
Thank you.
I and dude, you're always welcome here.
Well, thank you so
You're
much.
always
And
welcome here, and like I said, I absolutely would love. I know Alex and I would love to have you on for a full show.
well, anytime, just let me
Yep,
know. Anytime.
absolutely, absolutely.
Uh, when we're gonna be off air, I'll give you my my Facebook, and we'll can communicate through Messenger. It's gonna be easier like that.
We'll talk about it.
And
Yeah.
I'm eager to go to Ontario. I've been dingling to do the Old Angel Inn for
Good old Angel Inn
a
in Niagara
freaking
Falls.
while, and
Great little
I
place.
tend to have good communications with soldiers.
Hey,
So,
well, I guess, hey, that makes sense, doesn't it?
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah, the old Angel Inn, fucking
yep,
great
yep.
place. I love that place. And
Well,
the food is great. The food is great. I love the food.
well, if you want to join for part of the investigation, then you're
Let me know,
welcome.
buddy. I'm all for it.
All right. Well, I'll let you know.
All right. All right, Harley. Take care, buddy.
Thank
And
you.
you know, yes, stay put, and
Yep.
we'll talk you know, off live. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Yeah, take care, and we'll see you Sunday night for the regular show. Until then, good night, everyone.
Peace out.
Later.